Here we go. Welcome to another edition of the Pacers Pride Podcast. I'm your host, Cody Emerson, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host, Dylan Deanhart. Dylan, I'm not dealing well with the snow. The snow sucks. Personally, I'm not a winter guy, and when we started to get snow and cold, I absolutely hated it. How are you dealing with it?
It sucks, especially since my apartment doesn't like to pave the roads for whatever reason.
You're just ripping the This is to a roast of the Haven.
I'm not saying which apartment complex I'm living at the Haven, but yeah, it kind of sucks. I don't like the cold, personally. No. I don't deal well with the cold. I like to be in sunny 60-degree temperatures, but
Well, I don't think anyone.
Indiana does not have guarantee that year round, so.
No, unfortunately, we don't. But we're not the only ones battling through it. I mean,
it could be San Antonio.
We could be San Antonio. We could be Atlanta when they were getting some snow. I have family down there.
They've already got canceled school for Monday.
Yeah,
they just went ahead and said we're not.
It seems like they declare a state of emergency every time a snowflake falls down there. But
they apparently don't have an ounce of salt available. So.
But yeah, I hate this weather. But it's unfortunately what we have to deal with. Before the show starts, I want to give personally. I'm gonna hop on our Ball State basketball team's bandwagon real quick. I want to give tell the people what we did this week. On Monday, well, if you've been checking Twitter, you probably saw it. Just our Ball State basketball team traveled to Notre Dame, and the god himself, Taylor Persons. I'm overhyping him a little bit, just maybe. But
he got a little chatty during the game. Had a few points.
But he hit a game winner. And Ball State, probably one of our biggest wins in program history. So, well, in recent memory at least. Yeah. And so we took down a top 10 team. That was always fun to watch. And then he did it. Taylor Persons once again yesterday did it again. Obviously not against Notre Dame, but it was against Valpo, an in-state rival who I believe at the time was 8-1. So. Really good team.
After a 30-point drubbing of the team right here.
Yeah, okay. Got it. I mean, you got to figure Purdue in. But, yeah, I just wanted to give Taylor Person some love on the show because he deserves it. I took to Twitter to call him one of the most clutch players in all of college basketball. I will stand by that. Mock me all you want.
If you want to see a recap of the Valparaiso game winner, check out my Twitter, and then you can find the video easily. It's very good camera work, if I do say so myself. Not to brag or anything, but
hyping himself up there.
All right, someone's gotta.
Yeah, I mean, I just wanted to give some Taylor Persons some love. Taylor Persons, keep doing you, and Ball State basketball is looking good right now. But we obviously are a Pacers podcast, and the Pacers had a really good week.
3-0, like I said.
Really good week. 3-0, this beating the Knicks, Chicago. The Chicago game we'll get into here in a little bit, but was a bit sketchy. And then we took down the Cavs again, behind the man, the myth, the legend that is Victor Oladipo. But first we're going to recap the game against the Knicks, and there was no Tim Hardaway, no Kristaps. So as we were kind of tweeting out through the week that this should be a blowout, and that's exactly what happened. The Pacers ended up winning. Let me do my math here. That is what?
The score looks a lot closer than it was.
18. Yeah, because
at the fourth quarter,
garbage time.
Fourth quarter, I don't even think Victor, Miles, Darren Collison even came onto the floor. So
yeah, it was lots of garbage time for people.
They cut it to like 20, but if it was like the starters playing the entire time, I could have seen that lead stretch to 40 at one point. So
yeah,
it was that bad for the Knicks.
The Pacers, just won by, I believe, 18. The Knicks, obviously, but most of this was in garbage time, outscored the Pacers 32-20 in the fourth. But Pacers opened up a huge halftime lead, built on that, and then we basically said,
coasted.
Coasted, because there was no point. Really good game all around. All starters were in double figures, led by Thad Young, who dropped 20 points, 9 of 11 from the field, and
Too soon. Sorry,
really,
I had to throw that joke in.
Really, you have to throw that joke in? Come on, we're professionals. So.
Yeah.
But obviously, this was a great game great opportunity for some guys like TJ Leaf, who did not play well, but maybe
Granted, didn't get the ball in his hands in the second half like when he thought he would, but he just missed. He clanked a lot of open shots.
Yeah, I mean, maybe we need to.
There was a point where
maybe a G League thing, maybe.
There was a point where he like screened into like the free throw line on the top of the key and like in the middle where the free throw arc is, and he had a wide open and he threw it up and it hit the front of the rim and off. So that was the kind of night TJ Leaf had.
Well, not everyone's gonna have good nights. I honestly think with this, I understand we want to have depth, maybe. But with this 3-man rotation that seems to be going with Sabonis, Corey Joseph, and Lance, maybe send TJ down to the G League, maybe along with...
I want to see Poitras come up.
Send TJ down and maybe bring up Poitras, see what he can do. Because I remember I've been seeing the Pacers, I think, retweet or the Mad Ants Twitter account. Poitras has been really dominating the G League with like 20, 30-point games. So maybe bring him up, see what he can do. We saw just a little bit last year.
He played in a game this season too, and he had like 7 points, 4 rebounds or something.
So, yeah, he's playing well. Darren Collison had a double-double, 10 points, 10 assists. Good to see him doing that. And overall, the team shot 54%. That's always a good sign for the Pacers. And 11 of 26 from 3. We continue. I don't know.
You stopped on that.
Yeah,
you halted your horses real quick.
I thought we were still in the league for 3-point percentage, but I remember we talked.
I think we've fallen off.
Yeah, Golden State, I think, is taking that lead, and maybe Houston, but
probably Houston.
I know we're up there in 3-point percentage.
I'm saying Houston's shooting 26 threes. If you were Houston, that's a down day. That's like first quarter stats.
Yeah, that's the amount of threes Houston takes probably in the first 2 minutes of the half or whatever. But
realistically, half. Yeah. Sorry.
But yeah, overall, this was a really dominant game. Obviously, no Kristaps. And no Tim Hardaway is gonna help that because we saw what Kristaps can do to us last time. We just had no answer for him when he dropped like 40 plus. I can't even remember. But
Lance also taught Nick LaKenna how to sit down in the game.
Oh yes, that's right.
The
I remember.
non-dribble between the legs thing. Yeah.
And just making him dance, Lance.
And then was proceeded to be told by Nate McMillan to cut out this silly act and play professional basketball.
And Lance is going to be Lance when he's on, and I kind of feel like that's the way he gets hot is just toying with people, and he seemed to calm down. Like I think at least the bad shooting, he seemed to not
take smarter shots.
Yeah, take smarter. I mean, in this game he shot 3 of 7, which not bad really, a little under 50%.
Yeah.
The one thing I want to take away from this, and I'm glad the Pacers are playing at home because the Knicks are 1-7 away from MSG. So they like that home court advantage.
Some of that's due to Kristaps not being there.
A lot of that has to do with Kristaps.
I imagine a lot of their away games, Kristaps has not been available.
Yeah, I don't think they're playing him in back-to-backs. I'm not 100% sure.
Interesting.
I don't know. I thought I heard... I was listening to a Dirty Sports podcast, and I think Joe Prano or whatever, who loves his Knicks, he said, I don't think they're playing him in back-to-backs for some odd reason. But who knows? It was also great to see we calm down Enes Kanter because I remember that last game, he just absolutely destroyed Miles especially on the offensive rebounds. He only had, 6 total for the game, so it's a great game. Overall.
Negative 34 plus or minus along with Courtney Lee.
Oh my God.
That's just sit down and wait till the next game kind of plus or minus.
Hey, look at what's it? R. Baker
Ron Baker.
Ron Baker, is that his name?
Yeah, from
a plus 16.
Wichita?
I think
that's Wichita.
The Wichita State Shockers.
Yeah. Who
were shocking people during that tournament, and I had to throw that pun in there.
Yeah.
All right, but yeah, this is an overall dominant game for the Pacers, and they needed it. I mean, if they if this game was even close, you kind of would have questioned what their mentality was like.
And then the Chicago game
Yeah,
happened.
and that's a great transition into the Chicago Bulls game, which I believe I was at work that night.
I was playing basketball, so I did not see this. And I was kind of glad because I was yelling at the person who had their phone out. I'm like, what's the score? Like, keeping me updated. 'Cause at one point, he was like, yeah, we're down 14. I'm like, what?
I was able to, I'm pretty sure, get home for the last 9 minutes of the game or something like that. And the Pacers were down, I think, 9 points or whatever. They kept crawling back. If you ask me, though, there's no excuse to
A win's a win.
A win is a win, and I will take it. Victor, oh my God, I can't say enough about him, obviously.
Yeah, this is in fact
he took
his
the team. He took the team over in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
He, being really, really aggressive.
Something PG's never done.
And shots
fired.
Hey, we're gonna save the PG shots for when we preview
just
the
pre-firing.
Yeah. Overall, Victor, I think, was not shooting well in the first half.
Apparently, like, the Bulls were just unconscious from like the first half. Like, they were shooting.
They shot 47% for the game. So,
I was on 8 points 9 seconds looking at the recap, and it's like Pacers survive inexplicably hot Bulls shooting to win or whatever.
So obviously, and then Victor, the play of the game was when I think we were down 1, and Victor, or it was a great double team between Bojan and Victor, and they end up stripping the ball. Victor gets it. He runs out in transition, and instead of going in and laying it up,
he decides to take
the three.
Yeah.
And he drills it, and that was the difference maker in the game. Obviously, you look, the Bulls were outscoring us 30-20 in the first, 25-19, and we stepped up in the second half. But the key was 29-13 in the fourth quarter for the Pacers. Kind of, my friend Caleb, Caleb obviously, brought up a great point. We seem to play better when we're trailing.
That's true. I mean,
and when we have the lead, it seems like we kind of struggle to hold on to it.
No, I mean,
depending on the team we're playing.
The Knicks game was a kind of an argument against that. And so, we've had times where we've been dominant, like the Bulls game, the Knicks game. Granted, those are versus relatively easy opponents.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's a trend or not. I'll have to see a couple more games for myself to see if that's just the case. But when I'm thinking back at the Cavs game, we held the lead for a while in the fourth quarter. But granted, that was a back and forth game. So
yeah, the game was kind of back and forth regardless.
But the Bulls game.
Yeah, I mean, I love to see this style and the never give up attitude the Pacers, because I was checking the score like on my break at work, and I saw we're down like double digits, and I was like, "Are you kidding me?" And I remember saying on the show last week,
if
we
lose
lose
the
the
Bulls,
I'll forgive my Pacers fan, or stop being a Pacers fan, or whatever.
Which I said, yeah, right.
Something that I just didn't mean, or whatever. But great game. The Bulls, got to give him credit. Chris Dunn.
Chris Dunn has come into his
well.
own after being injured for most of the first half of the season.
They're starting to roll, I think, with Lauri Markkanen over Bobby Portis, which I think is kind of hilarious. Because is Nikola Mirotic still not playing?
No.
From the
Is
he
he's
still
got the
recovering?
broken nose or whatever.
Oh
no. It says do not play because of coach's decision. So.
Well, who knows?
So I don't know
what happened with him.
I think he's still searching for a new team. When I do not blame him.
I wouldn't want to be on that team anyway.
Yeah.
But obviously,
especially if your teammates sucker punching you in practice.
One thing, this was the real, and we talked about it, I think, yesterday. We're starting to see a lot more of the Corey Joseph late in games.
Yeah.
And you had a great theory on why you think that is.
Well, he's just a better defender late.
Yeah.
That's simply what it comes down to. He plays defense. He plays a better defender.
I guess you really
late
wouldn't call it a
games.
theory, but
Yeah, it's just what it is. And it's what Nate McMillan's kind of turning to recently. Even in the Cavs game, he turned to Corey Joseph late, which we'll talk to more. I'm just itching to talk about that, I guess. But Darren Carlson, granted, he's not the worst defender. He's just Corey Joseph's just a better defender.
And you can't help. I mean, it's kind of like Isaiah Thomas. He's only like Darren Carlson's,
I don't think Corey Joseph
6 foot.
Corey Joseph's not that much bigger than
Corey
Darren Carlson.
Joseph is 6'3".
So, okay. I don't know.
He has a couple inches on Darren.
But it's, I agree with the decision. He gives better defense than Darren Carlson, so why not go with him at the end and late game stretches
and hit those clutch free throws against the Cavs. Yeah. So,
and then, I remember. No, he missed the front end of one, and I was so.
Oh yeah,
nervous.
That's right.
He missed the front end and then came back and hit both. So
yeah, that's the one I was talking about. But he's shooting like 90% from the line. So and you obviously, not because obviously they're both veteran players, but Corey Joseph, when he's been on teams like the Spurs and he's been around guys like Greg Popovich and, I mean, Dwayne Casey. That's not saying much though with Toronto.
But speaking of free throws, Victor Oladipo missed a clutch one and resulted in 10 push-ups. So
Victor did say that he will do 10 push-ups for every free throw that he misses. So
I was waiting for that post-game interview for the Cavs, but he did not do that.
But
he was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna stay on this court and shoot like 100 free throws tomorrow."
I mean, you love to see that though. Yeah. But yeah, this was kind of Pacers fans. You had kind of your nerves just rattled this entire game, but thanks to, as I said, the man, the myth, the legend, that is Victor Oladipo, who better get an All-Star appearance.
It's up to LeBron.
See, we were talking about this last night, and please, if you know what this is going to be like, because I just want to talk about it real quick.
Yeah.
So, the fans elect the All-Stars, and then the captain get to pick from those pool of All-Stars.
Correct.
So even if you don't get picked by the captain, I want to know, are you still considered an All-Star?
Certain that you are still...
I would think you would be.
Yes, you're just not playing like
I would think
it's just like the players and like the MLB All-Star, the people who don't get to play but they're still on the bench, they're still technically an All-Star. So
I don't know the exact answer to that, but
But I'm going to say right now, I don't think that Miles Turner's going to get in.
Oh, no, I don't think he will.
He's not playing at least like it.
He's not, but I think he's taking second fiddle to Vic right now.
Yeah.
Because...
Which is kind of disappointing. I want to see Miles Turner take that leadership role, but I don't...
He's only in his, third year now?
Yeah.
So, he's still got room to grow. I mean, he's as old as us.
Yeah, that's true.
He's still got time. I think he'll continue to develop a little bit. Obviously, he's
still working his way back.
The defense is there, obviously. He leads the league in blocks now. Has played enough games to qualify for the league.
Added to that
in blocks.
Yeah, to last night. He added 4 against Chicago and 4 more against the Cavs.
Yeah, he's averaging like 2.5.
Yeah.
Quick question: do you think maybe defensive player of the year? Maybe.
No. Not defensive player.
Not if you lead the league in blocks.
No, there's too much. There's too many people above him. I mean, I think Kawhi, if he comes back, will win it. I mean, there's just. I mean, if Patrick Beverly was healthy, I think he's already in contention, but he's not. But
injuries have opened the door, maybe.
I don't know. Leader in blocks gets you in the conversation, but there's always like LeBron sitting there always.
I would take Miles over LeBron.
For defensive player?
Yes.
But LeBron can play every position. Miles can only play center.
What does that have to do with...
I'm just saying he's a more versatile defensive player.
Yes, he is.
Which makes him a better defender.
Yeah. Leading the league in blocks is no small feat.
PG's averaging 2 steals per game. Does that not get him in the conversation?
No. Screw PG.
Realistically,
that team...
Gets him in the conversation.
Yeah, I
know. He just doesn't want to admit it, so...
No. That team's imploding. Well, not imploding. They're kind of getting the rhythm back.
Yeah, they've won some close games, unfortunately. But
they needed a game-winning free throw from Russ last night to beat the Mike Conley-less Memphis Grizzlies.
And like I said, we beat them without need of overtime, so on that.
We're going to talk about that game here in just a little bit.
Let's go to Cavs now.
Okay, yeah.
we need to get off of Chicago,
yeah. Game against the Cavs, obviously. I think we both called...
You did not. You said, I think that the Cavs are too hot and that the Cavs are going to beat the Pacers. And I said, no, sir. the Pacers are gonna beat the Cavaliers, and I extended my undefeated.
I couldn't
picks.
remember. A 13-game win streak. It's hard to
Pick against it.
I used the Celtics as an example.
I think I picked against the Celtics. No, I didn't, because I'm perfect. That's right.
Of course you were. But yeah, this was a tight game, as it always is when the Pacers and Cavs play. I think
We're 2-0 against the Cavs, though.
I think outside the Golden State Warriors, call me crazy if you want, but we compete with the Cavs the best.
Yeah.
And outside Golden State.
Celtics. I haven't seen the Celtics, the current Celtics play the Cavs.
So I just think we have the mindset, because we see LeBron every year, basically. So this was a very good game, and the Pacers pulled away. Well, not pulled away late, but
they kept it with at least a 4-point lead for a majority of the fourth quarter.
And then
it was a rough fourth quarter, I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
Like halfway through the fourth quarter, each team had scored 6 points.
And if you were wondering who was the culprit behind sending out all of those tweets, that guy right there.
You're welcome.
Those were pretty funny. I mean, I was just sitting there watching the game after I got off work, and I was like, what? One of the greatest ones was when no one is making anything. This is fine. But blowing his ear, Lance.
I still think my favorite one is the no point guard on the floor. We'll see how this.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton.
See how this works out.
But yeah, the Pacers ended up beating the Cavs and snapping that 13-game win streak. Huge win for the Pacers, obviously.
Behind a huge third quarter.
Yes, outscored the Cavs
23.
Now I'm just looking at the box score.
Yeah.
17-16. Yeah, it was a cold fourth quarter for both teams.
Yeah.
But I just, once again, the man, the myth, the legend, I'm going to continue to say it.
Yeah.
Victor Oladipo carried this team in the fourth quarter, and I think wasn't the dagger. I think it was to put us ahead, that 3-pointer there?
Yeah, that put us ahead by one. The Oladipo
put Kevin Love on some skates
Yeah.
right there. Obviously, when he had a mismatch on Kevin Love, he did some crossover. I think it was a crossover. I can't remember. But
I'm just gonna say Victor Oladipo in the second half made J.R. Smith his.
what.
You know what.
And
he was, every time J.R. Smith was on Victor Oladipo, you just knew Oladipo was either attacking it or he was gonna cross him up. And every time J.R. Smith just fouled him on the drive.
I will give J.R. Smith credit though. He kept them in that game late with some clutch threes.
Yeah. Granted, the rebounding at the end was kind of subpar from the Pacers, especially the one that led to the corner three from JR where Corey Joseph didn't even had his head on straight where he was looking. So,
but yeah, Pacers took 39 threes.
Yeah,
I mean,
quantity over quality, my dear.
When you're competing with the Cavs who chuck it up like they do, I mean, you gotta chuck some up. And
let's look at Victor's. He shot 13
He was 6 of 13. I have no problem with that.
Yeah. He was making them. The third quarter especially, he scored he had 17 of his 33 in the third quarter.
Mm-hmm. Just huge. Huge is an understatement.
And then you could tell he was tired in the fourth quarter, but
yeah, I think
he's granted that.
Both teams, I think, were a little sluggish in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
LeBron obviously was getting his. He almost got a triple-double.
The real Achilles heel for this game was the Cavs bench. Especially when I put out that they weren't even running with a point guard. That's real. That was that stretch in the third quarter when they were just getting destroyed.
Yeah, no one on the bench.
There's no one operating that offense. Dwayne Wade was doing his best, but even he couldn't get everyone where they needed to be, and it was just really, really sad to watch because it was just mindless offense. They were just running around doing the motions with no one really telling them.
I'm gonna give a huge shout out. I don't know who was guarding Kyle Korver. Maybe Lance off the bench.
I think it was Bojan.
I don't know, or Bojan. Whoever was guarding Kyle Korver.
No, Bojan was on LeBron, so it had to have been Vic.
Whoever was switching off on Kyle Korver or whatever. Kyle Korver was 1 of 5. I was watching most of his
He had an
three.
open 3.
Yeah, he is, and I'm like, oh god, here it goes, bang, and then he
Mhm.
just clanks it.
Yeah.
So cold night for him. D Wade only got 9 points. And yeah, you talked about it. The key was the bench.
Yeah.
Speaking of the bench, Corey Joseph had 12. Sabonis had 9. Lance had 7. So I mean, our bench was able to provide a little bit. What was that? 21, 28, 29 points off the bench. Not bad, especially when you get 33 from Vic.
Yeah.
15 from Miles, including 3 blocks. So he's doing his thing on the defensive end.
And a great dish to Sabonis for an and one that kind of tied it up, I think, in the third quarter.
Ew, I'm looking at Bojan. 3 of 11.
He
2 of
had
8 from 3.
He did come up clutch that last
Yes.
the 3. But he did turn his ankle, and you could like in the first half, and you could kind of see in the second half he was kind of tentative, and he didn't really get his feet under him. So that's a little bit of an excuse, but
yeah,
he got it. He got the 3 he needed to hit. So
exactly. So Pacers were able to snap the Cavs' win streak and move to 15-11. And as it sits right now, the Pacers I think are
5th and
half a game back of Milwaukee, which we were talking about this again last night. We have not seen Milwaukee yet.
We have not played Milwaukee, which will be an interesting matchup.
So
especially when we play them, it's probably Jabari's going to probably be back.
will be back, yeah, because he's starting to work his way back.
Yeah.
So we'll be an interesting. Pacers are right in the thick of things.
I don't know how we're going to guard Giannis, but that's for another conversation.
We won't. I think you said your strategy last night. Let Giannis go off and worry about the rest of the team.
Yeah, I mean that's a fair strategy. I mean,
because he had that.
Let Giannis try to go for 100 points and see what else what his supporting crew can do.
I don't know, Pacers. You need to get on the board with just doing the Vic thing with this shirt. Like maybe create a shirt or something, because it's my city and he's.
Give him the key.
I can't say enough about Victor Oladipo and what he's meant to this team this season. But Pacers are now 15-11 and looking ahead, have some couple of difficult games, but overall the schedule gets as the new year approaches, kind of gets an easier schedule. Mm-hmm. We're gonna start. Obviously, there is a game today in Bankers Life, game 4 of the road trip.
I just saw something that'll make this game a lot easier. Nikola Jokic is out for this game. Yes. According to ESPN, granted.
Thank you. Well, I mean,
will not play during Sunday's matchup against the Pacers.
Heck yes.
There you go. Miles Turner just breathed a heavy sigh of relief.
Yeah, because Jokic is obviously one of the best passing big men in the league. Can shoot the 3, can do all kinds of things for that team. Speaking of which, so Jokic, Pacers will be playing the Denver Nuggets, who I believe we have the
14-11.
14-11. So
they have come off a win against the Magic 2 days ago. Fairly convincing, 103-88 at the Magic. Prior to that, they have lost 2 straight, one to the Pelicans and the other to the the Mavericks. So they're not the most consistent, but they're still a Western Conference team that's to be reckoned with. I think they're in the playoffs right now. If the playoffs.
The Western Conference, I was looking at it, is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, it's all over the place.
They're, I think, the 7th and 8th seed have like a 500 record.
Yeah.
So, you could make an argument the East is better than the West this year.
As of right now, I mean, record-wise, probably.
But that's huge news for the Pacers, obviously, and because of that, you know what? I'm gonna say the Pacers extend their win streak to 4 games.
Same.
I think this will be a close game throughout. The Nuggets, I know they like to probably get up their fair share of threes. You have to deal with guys like Gary Harris, Jamal Murray.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who exactly they're.
Fareed, you got.
I'm trying to look at their leading scores. Will Barton was 16 a game.
Yeah, don't fret on Will Barton. Will Barton's a solid player,
and
but he'll be matched up against.
Don't forget about Paul Millsap.
Yeah. I forgot.
I think he'll be probably the focal point of that offense, maybe.
Yeah. Especially with Jokic.
Jokic out,
he leads their team in blocks with 1.3.
Jokic leads the team in assists.
That's not surprising.
At 4.6. But yeah.
It's safe to say though that the Emmanuel Mudiay experiment has failed. So.
Yeah. So
though he's averaging 10.6 and
they
3
have
assists.
guys all around this team who can score the ball. Paul Millsap's averaging 15. Gary Harris is averaging 15. Jamal Murray
Indiana
14.
Welcome home.
So they got some pieces, but the Pacers can't overlook the Nuggets.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, thank God we're not going out to Denver and playing at high altitude.
Yeah.
And we get this game at home, so I think we both predict a Pacers win.
W.
And no, we're not Wisconsin. We are not Wisconsin. No, you're not Alex. But obviously, okay. Now here's the game that Pacers fans have been.
Oh, don't you tell me. As of right now on the injury list, Paul George is ruled day-to-day. He's out for Saturday's game against the Grizzlies. If he is injured, if this guy takes the cop-out route for this Wednesday game, I'm lost all respect for Paul George. Yeah, I've got a calf injury. I'm not going to play against the Pacers on Wednesday. Yeah, BS. All right, go ahead.
Well, I mean, no, I agree with you. I mean, I don't care. You have to play in this game.
Own up. Man up. Play.
Yeah, exactly.
Play the game.
So on Wednesday, next Wednesday, it's the Pacers and the Thunder.
The most hyped up
the
matchup.
most anticipated game probably of the season for the Pacers, as Paul George, whether he plays or not, will make his return to Bankers Life Fieldhouse and
We've
to
already
the
played
Pacers.
them, but
well, we haven't played them on the road.
Yeah, I'm saying we've already seen them, but
and I threw up a Twitter poll, I think, last week sometime, to gauge your guys' reaction, and surprisingly, well, I wasn't really surprised that a majority of you said you'd boo him. I mean, that's well within your right. He
did us dirty.
He did, but
I wouldn't have been. I would have been fine with the entire situation if he had just not said the LA thing. Would have been fine. Would have said, "All right, I understand you want to go
I don't
separate
think
ways."
he's going to LA.
But I'm just
Yeah,
saying,
I know.
that's what tarnished his reputation.
But yeah, and so I think it was like over half of you guys said that you'd probably boo him. Only a few of you said you'd give him a standing ovation.
And a lot of people said nothing.
Yeah, a lot of people said no reaction, which okay.
Yeah.
But I think you have to have some kind of reaction, I would think, with your
Unless
superstar.
it's like complete silence when he's introduced.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
I can't remember who left a comment saying, "I think complete silence would be just Paul George." Then complete silence.
Well, no, it's
from
not even that.
Baker's Life.
The announcer's not even going to give him that much. It's going to be
Paul George or whatever. But yeah, diving into this game, I've been on the record. I'm saying we faced him before. We beat him. I think we do it again.
We don't. We didn't beat them last time.
Oh, we didn't? I
we
thought
lost
we did.
114 to 96. That's because of Westbrook.
Oh yeah, because
though PG did foul out of that game.
Brooke went off.
Yeah.
But the way they're starting to play right now, I think it's a tough game, but you know what? I'm calling the Pacers probably in a. You know what? I think it'd be an upset. Would it be? Would it be an upset?
Yeah. I don't know.
I mean, they're 12-13, and we're at the moment 15 and 11.
They just lost to the Nets, so you mean
they did. So,
but then they beat the Grizzlies, and they play the Hornets Monday, and then they travel into Indy Wednesday.
So I don't know, but I'm going with the Pacers. I think we're.
I don't know if it's an upset pick, but if it's right.
I don't know what the spread will be, right? I would think they'd probably be favored.
I would imagine we won't see the spread until Tuesday.
Yeah. But they're 12-13, not where they want to be, obviously.
Nope.
They needed overtime and a Westbrook free throw last night to beat the Grizzlies. And as you said, they just lost to the Nets.
In Mexico.
So
they've done some traveling, so maybe that tires them down.
I don't want to hear that traveling bullcrap. You got 3 perennial superstars on your team. There's no excuse for why you're playing this bad.
And 1 home wrecker.
Well, what do you think? Do you
win?
Yeah,
I want to see a win, and I want to see Paul George score 0 points, 6 fouls.
That will not happen. If Paul George is held scoreless, that building will go ballistic.
You know what I want to see? I want to see Victor Oladipo and Paul George.
That'll happen.
I don't know. I was just saying maybe they'll probably put Bojan on him, but I would love to see
I would
Vic.
put Bojan on Robertson because you don't
I
have
want
to
to start Sabonis too. No.
because you don't have to worry much about Robertson because he'll probably just airball a three.
Yeah.
Or I'm Nate McMillan, employ Hacker Robertson because that
Especially
man
that game.
cannot shoot free throws to save his life.
Nope.
So
I think 50% from the free throws being
I would-
generous to Robertson.
I would most definitely say Hacker Robertson because
It comes down to it, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what other teams
but
do.
I think Vic will go off. I think they will have Robertson on.
If you know,
on Victor.
I want to see Vic hit a late shot and just do this right in front of PG. That would make my day.
I don't think Vic's that kind of guy who would
I mean,
do that.
if once you get adrenaline going,
Yeah. If anyone to do that, that'd be Lance.
yeah, Lance.
Put Lance
though
on Paul George.
I think Lance is gonna have some sympathy for PG.
Oh yeah, because
they're good friends.
they're good friends.
Yeah.
So we're both predicting Pacers victories. I think Pacers are playing better basketball right now.
Yeah.
We just beat the Cavs, so if we can beat the Cavs, we can compete with anybody except Golden State probably.
My only concern is that they hope they don't, at least for the Denver game, they don't look to the Oklahoma City game. But
Yeah, don't look like ahead and overlook Denver.
that's more of a college basketball thing, but it's still gonna apply here.
So both predicting Pacers victories.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, when is it? Wednesday?
Yes.
Do I have any finals on Wednesday?
I do not have any winning.
I don't
I'm
think
sitting my butt on the couch and watching this on
I
TV.
may come over and watch it, and so we can both yell at the
I'll
TV.
tweet.
Yeah,
I think I'm the resident live tweet.
he can do the resident live tweeting with all the memes and stuff like that for your guys' entertainment out there.
You're welcome.
But we can't obviously dive too much into this game because we're gonna start to preview some more games, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But we're both predicting a Pacers victory. That would extend our record to 17 and 11. And honestly, I could see it maybe going into 18 and 11. Because on next Friday, sucks that we're not going to this game. I don't have money.
I mean, I'm
No,
poor college student.
I'm giving.
I still have Christmas gifts to buy. Sorry, Mom. Well, what?
But
she's not listening to this.
the Pacers play the Detroit Pistons, who we've split the first two, right? Split the first two meetings, I believe.
Yes. We lost to them at Detroit, and
then
we beat them at home.
And we beat them at home.
Yeah.
So this game will be at home next Friday, and to cap off the Pacers' 6-game homestand. So nice to see that these games are at home. I think it's the longest homestand of the year.
I would be surprised.
I believe so. So I'm, you know what?
Oh, man.
I'm going out on a limb. Well, I don't even think it's going out on a limb really, but because let's see. Yeah, we're better than Detroit right now. So Detroit's kind of simmered down. Yeah, a little bit. Oh my lord, they are on a 5-game losing streak.
Oh, the mighty have
Well,
fallen.
okay. In their defense, they have played at Washington, at Philly, at San Antonio, at Milwaukee, and then they hosted Golden State.
Yeah.
So
Golden State probably wanted revenge.
So granted, against Golden State, they made that game competitive. Only lost by 4.
Yeah.
Only lost by 3 to the
For
Spurs.
some reason the Pistons play the Warriors
because Pistons, I think, have a really good defense.
Yeah.
They've always kind of had
Avery
that
Bradley.
gritty defense.
Drummond, I don't think Zasha Pachulia can do much against Drummond. So.
No. But I think this will be another grit and grind type of game.
Yep.
But I'm gonna.
This will be our third game against them already.
Yeah.
And we play all 4 of them.
Oh yeah.
We're done with Detroit by Tuesday, December 26th.
Wow.
So we get that out of the way quick.
Yeah. But I'm gonna.
And then we play our third against Chicago. December 29th. So.
No, go right. I mean, but looking into this game, you know what? I'm gonna say we win again because I just think we play at home. We play so much better at home than we do on the road.
Mm-hmm.
And we beat them at home the first time. Obviously, it took a miraculous comeback, like a 19-point comeback or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think we look at game tape from that game, see what we can
we did well.
Continue to do. Hold Hacker Drummond.
I don't know if his free throw percentage dropped yet, but
I don't know. Let me check.
Law of averages probably.
Ramble while I look at stats.
And then I think we win at Brooklyn, and then we got another tough game at home against Boston, which familiar opponent. They're last. I don't know. I think that Boston game will be interesting to talk about.
Drummond's shooting 60%, so.
All right. So yeah, he's kind of fallen back to earth.
I would employ Hacka Drummond.
Yeah.
But yeah, this.
So I think we win against Detroit.
Yeah.
Brooklyn,
better win.
A tentative W versus Brooklyn, because I could see another Chicago game happening.
I don't think we let that happen again.
Yeah.
I think we learned from that.
But Brooklyn's playing surprisingly.
And they just got Okafor.
Yeah. They're playing not too bad. I mean, they beat the Thunder.
They're 10-15. That's not bad for Brooklyn.
Yeah. I mean, Brooklyn's used to being single digits till after the All-Star break, so... They beat the Thunder. They beat the Hawks. Lost to the Heat. They beat the Mavericks. They beat the Grizzlies, the Jazz, Trailblazers, Suns.
This next game will be very interesting.
Yeah.
Monday, December 18th. And it's a back-to-back, too.
Yeah. From Brooklyn all the way back to Boston. I don't think we win that game.
Yeah, I don't think we do either.
Man, we can't just... I think the other time we played Boston, it was a back-to-back. Yeah,
it was.
We can't get a day rest against Boston. So,
granted, hopefully Vic plays in that game. I think barring any drastic injury, I think he'll play in that game. But I still don't think it'll be enough. Pacers, if they want to win that game,
I mean, we beat
have
the
to
Cavs,
play 4
but
quarters.
If you really want to show you can beat the top echelon of the Eastern Conference, you got to beat the Boston.
That would send a huge message.
Yeah. Granted, I don't think we send that message, but
no, unfortunately,
it's just the way the schedule works out.
So we have 3, 4, 5, 6.
So that'd be.
I could see us going on a 7-game win streak. I don't see if we play as well as we did against Cleveland. I don't see why we can't.
So that would take that against after Brooklyn. If it goes all how we say, that'd be 19-11, 19-12 against Boston. And then we get another easy stretch. 16, 17, Look at that stretch 19. Up to December 31st.
It's beautiful.
We get Brooklyn at home, at Detroit, home against Dallas, at Chicago, and then we got Minnesota. Minnesota's been struggling, so.
I think we're about the same, right? I think they're 14-11.
15-11. But there's some infighting that have been, like, Cat's not, like, the happiest camper with Tom Thibodeau right now, amongst other things. Like Jimmy Butler and Tosh Gibson are the only people that play defense on that team or whatever.
Who knows?
Yeah.
But, so, we're going to add Atlanta. That's a dub.
It should be, yeah.
We can't overlook these bad teams, and I don't think we'll let that happen again.
Mm-hmm.
So, at Atlanta, that's a win. Versus Brooklyn, that's a win.
Especially at home. And we've already torched them at once at home, so.
Yeah, so. And that was opening night?
Yep.
Yeah.
The 140-point game.
Oh, yeah. God, yeah. We've kind of come back down to earth after that. I don't think just a little bit.
We've only graced that ceiling a couple times with the 121-point drubbing of the Orlando Magic, but it's safe to say I don't think we're going to reach 140 again. But maybe we do against Brooklyn at home, so that's something to look forward to.
Looking at, we've soared. We're top 10 in the league in points per game. I just didn't realize that. We're averaging
Nate McMillan with the pace,
averaging 108 points per game, top 10 in assists, 23. Obviously, we're still working out the kinks on D.
Yeah.
We're 21st in points allowed.
We got a lot of new players, which is you got to find the perfect mesh. So.
Yeah. We did say though. Some news for you guys. This will, as the semester's winding down, though, this is our last show in this studio, though. But we will be doing Skype.
We'll attempt to try to do a Skype call on OBS and everything. I'm still working out the kinks, but that's the hope as of right now.
We will try and get you
I think
guys
it'll probably be, if it's going to be anything, it's going to be post-Christmas.
Yeah,
so.
That's fine.
Like between Christmas and New Year's, we'll have a special one where we can recap the Thunder game. That's probably going to be a majority of that podcast. But
yeah,
we might have an emergency podcast before we leave. We could probably sneak into the studio here. Maybe we'll see. If I'm still here,
depending on our. I know I'm leaving like probably Thursday.
Okay, then never mind.
So,
but if if worst case, we could probably just do emergency post Thunder podcast if we can try to sneak in here. Oop. Okay.
Way to go.
Yeah. Talented.
Way to go.
Multi-talented.
But yeah, that's wow, really short.
We left off at Brooklyn. Then we go to Detroit for December 26th, the day after Christmas. Happy holidays.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's hard to predict this far out.
Yeah.
But I think it's a win.
Yeah, and talk about Milwaukee.
Yeah.
After looking forward to the new year, Wednesday, January 3rd, and then Monday, January 8th.
Yeah.
We play them twice in 3 games, so get a steady diet of Giannis after the new year.
But that safely takes us up to Christmas and the day of, and that's all we're going to touch for right now because everything else is just anything could happen. So.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's all we didn't want to try and predict too far in the future because obviously
it gets kind of just messy.
Hopefully, you were telling me last night that not Bojan, GR is taking
GR is out of the boot. He was shooting shots from I think the top of the key. Was not jumping with the shots, obviously, but it's a good sign.
I mean, boots off, so
I would say maybe look for All-Star break return. Maybe I don't know around then.
Who knows? But hopefully progressing because we're playing fine without him. I mean,
but we can
obviously because that small forward
need his
position,
athleticism and wingspan.
That small forward position is something that we obviously
like Bojan wants him back too.
need depth at, because Bojan doesn't
help.
I mean, granted, I'm going to give credit to Bojan. He's
holding his own.
He's our second leading scorer right now, and he's shooting like 44% from 3.
Yeah.
So
he did his best to stop LeBron against the Cavs, but I mean, it's LeBron.
It's LeBron. We just like going up against Kristaps. There's nothing much you can do.
Yeah.
To stop the
especially
freight
this
train.
year. This year he's just tearing.
Yeah, when he's having the best year of his career.
Yeah.
Well, that's all. Yeah, it's a really short show today.
No, it was about an hour.
Was it really?
Yeah. I'll check the. Yeah, we've hit an hour. Or sorry, 47 minutes. So.
Yeah,
okay.
but that's fine.
I think it was a good podcast.
Yeah, it was, and unfortunately, I've got some crazy stuff that I need to, because I still need to fit eating then, and I have to be at my concert in about 47 minutes. So yeah. So
time
that is unfortunately all the time we have for you today, and as we said, we'll probably fit in
at least
Skype call over the break to recap some of the games, obviously. Maybe 1, maybe 2, if depending on our schedules. Because I still don't know what I'm going to be doing over break. But,
same.
But until then, we hope you guys have a very Merry Christmas.
Happy holidays, Happy New Year.
And thank you guys.
Happy non-denominational
Feliz Navidad.
Happy Hanukkah.
However you say Merry Christmas, because I know we have some followers overseas. So however you say Christmas, in your language, we wish you
Happy Santa Day.
Happy Santa Day. But yeah,
happy non-denominational holidays.
Are you gonna let me close out the show, or are you just gonna keep rambling?
Oh, go forth. Go forth and finish, young blood.
Yeah, we hope all you and your families have a very Merry Christmas, and as we all said, we will try and fit in a podcast, because
our gift to you.
Yes, that's our Christmas gift to you guys. And we have some very exciting things coming up. Next semester.
Just before we end it, there's some Pacer news coming out Tuesday, so be aware.
There is.
We don't know what it is. I'm suspecting it's either an E-League or a Mad Ants redesign logo.
We'll definitely keep you updated on Twitter about that.
Yeah.
When it releases Tuesday, well, you'll probably have to do it because I think I have a couple of finals on Tuesday.
Well, I have a speech, but
man, the heck with the speech, you'll be fine.
It's in Spanish too, but you know.
Until then, until our next show, which is to be determined.
Yeah.
But at a later date. But thanks you guys for tuning in this semester.
We'll be back next semester.
We'll be back next semester right here in the same studio recording podcast for you.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, some all-star break and trade rumors and all that kind of jazz for you.
This is when the NBA starts heating up.
Yep. But until then, for Dylan Deanhart, I'm Cody Emerson. And always remember, go Pacers.